Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to Adam's Quest. In the last episode, chaos consumed the tribe lands right after our next shaman baby was born, when fires began to sprout up all around the nursery. But perhaps more worrying is our new Berinnar visitor, who seems to have sniffed out Onyx, who is unfortunately one of our weakest members of the tribe. So he's going to have to call out for help from creatures like Cupid, and creatures like Taduke too, of course, who as the leader would be more than willing to charge in and hopefully rid this Berinnar from our lands. He was taught at a very young age that family comes above all else, so as Sapphire pleads with him to save her brother, he would dive into action. The one thing he's going to request is that Sapphire eventually takes their baby away from the fires. Right now she can't because he's too young to leave the nest, and that's what has me really worried about the situation. If this fire, or even the one raging right behind them, starts to spread, then they might end up getting trapped right inside the nursery. But for now, let's bring Taduke around the cactus plant, I suppose. We'll have him hide behind this thing, so he can get ready to land a good blow on the Berinnar on the next turn. It's a bit tricky because he doesn't have all of his energy, so that means he could end up getting injured if we don't have enough creatures to take care of it entirely. So Cupid is going to have to swoop in from the sidelines as well. Despite the fact that he is not very much of a fighter, he will try his best to defend his tribe mates with those two lovely claws. We'll bring him right to Taduke's side, in fact, so he can let him know that he's not alone. And we're going to have to bring Onyx far, far away from the Berinnar. We don't want him getting attacked either. So if we scoot him over... Well, actually, let's pick up the grass first so we don't lose the Berinnar, because I don't want to move anybody too close to him in the meantime. So we know that he's right here in this one unveiled patch of grass, and we'll make sure that our weaker creatures stay away. They have berries to pick after all. As worried as they would be for Cupid's safety, this family needs to keep our food supplies high enough to survive. We'll have to hope that our explorers will be able to find yet another way to appease Vankir, because we desperately need another good rainfall, not only to bring back the berries, but to get rid of these fires too. And meanwhile, this must really just be cementing all of Hornet's ideas from before. In fact, he's probably oddly pleased with all of this chaos, because it proves to him that the beacons are no good. They were bad luck from the start, and he can make sure that his family understands. Soot and Flea both know that if you make friends with these fire starters, you're going to end up getting burned. And ironically, our two beacons are actually not too aware of everything going on back in their homelands. They're way out here in the tall grass, trying to find some more food, of course, just like Taduke instructed. But besides that, Kirkir is actually trying to catch Wildfire's eye, because he knows he's coming to the end of his lifespan, and he really wants to start a family before he passes away. But unfortunately, Wildfire doesn't seem too interested herself. She knows there's still a lot of work to do out here, so she's not ready to settle down and start a family. So his advances aren't really being well received, and I'm sure that's worrying him a little bit, that he's going to end up passing away without ever carrying on his genetics. Oh, wait a second. We have a little berry bush over here. Oh, I bet it was Blossom who sniffed that out. Well, you better call off to Ash and Honeycomb, so they know to rush back here and hopefully pick some more berries. Oh my gosh, we even have a shriveled up berry bush. Tons of them. More than we've ever seen in the savannah before. Normally the shriveled berry bushes wouldn't be anything to write home about, but with our lack of food supplies right now, that might just save us. So let's see if we can have Honeycomb make his way through the grass. It looks like he'll need one extra day to scoot over to all of those berries. And then we'll have Ash do the same, leaving behind the remains of Vanta, unfortunately, but all for good reason. Yeah, I wonder if it's Vanta's spirit who's actually leading them toward all of these bushes. maybe he still has a role to play after all. And then a much, much more sad side of our family would of course be Melody and Medley, who are both about to pass away in just a couple of days. I think even Dusty only has 3 days remaining on his lifespan, which is kind of poetic in a way that all of these creatures are going to pass away at the same time. So we'll bring Dusty down here into all of his ashes to pick the berries, make sure they have plenty of food to eat, and then I suppose we'll settle down Medley by this nest over here, because Melody wants to make sure that he's well taken care of. We'll see if maybe she can sniff out some extra berries too. Something new for them to pick from. There we go, another one of those shriveled up bushes. So Medley could perhaps do the honors by scooting over in this direction, and then I believe we should be just about out of turns. So now the moment of truth. Are these fires going to start spreading and consuming our land? Oh my gosh! You went straight after poor little Cupid? Oh, the poor thing. And I'm so sad that we don't have any healing fruits to take care of our creatures on this island. I don't think we're going to find any blessings from a diamond out here in the savanna grass. It's probably a little bit too hot for healing fruits to grow. But to Duke, go ahead and lick his wounds, because he can actually do quite a bit of damage on this Berinnar. He only has 13 days remaining, so go ahead and take a good swipe. But again, because he only has that 1 day's worth of energy, we need somebody else to come in here and finish off the job. Oh boy, that may have put you in a bad situation, actually. Can anybody rush over to your side? It is without a doubt the lack of energy that is going to really stunt our tribe when it comes to taking care of dangers. So Heatwave? I mean, you're not very strong either, but at least you could poison the Berinnar. So maybe that would help if there's just like 1 day left on his lifespan. Oh my gosh, I bet you never thought that you would be diving in to save these creatures from a Berinnar of all things. He's always been content to just pick the berries, because he's far more suited to the role. But if he can draw any of that attention away from Cupid, then he knows it's going to be a worthwhile sacrifice. We need to keep our strong alive. I guess that means to Duke, all you can really do is just pick your berries. I wish he had that extra point in energy, because then he could probably land that killing blow. But unfortunately, I think everybody else is too far away. Yeah, we're going to have to just cross our fingers and hope that you guys don't end up passing, as Sapphire begins to take her baby toward less dangerous lands. It must honestly be tearing her up that she can't stay by her mate's side when there's so much chaos for him to contend with. She probably even feels the pull of souls who are about to pass, too. Creatures whose lives are at stake. And all of this also puts Zircon in a bit of a sticky situation, because of course this is his family that he's watching struggle. But he was bound to Hornet's family, the bees and the bears, and it's going to be difficult for him to decide which road he wants to walk on. Either he protects the dying wishes of Hornet, or he goes back to save his sister and her new baby. But Soot and Flea aren't quite so torn about it all. They would have taken their father's words to heart, and they don't want anything to do with the bluebirds. So let's actually have them start making their way into the grass over here. As Flea grows his final gem too. He still looks so tiny. I feel like he's probably going to get lost and tangled up in that tall grass quite a bit. So Soot is actually going to have to keep a very, very close eye on him, just so he doesn't lose track of his brother. Now, we don't have any other fires sprouting up in the distance, do we? We should probably make sure just in case, especially around Melody. I feel like it was honestly the despair that she's feeling over her son's fate that caused all of those fires to sprout up originally. And the Berinnas too, let's go ahead and sniff around. You can never be too sure when it comes to Berinnas. Sometimes they like to sneak up on you. But all of these creatures are probably about to cross paths, We have Kirkir, who's feeling a little bit dejected at the moment because Wildfire refused his advances, but this family might just hold the answers for him. He strikes me as a creature who would actually really enjoy the sweet taste of berries, even though he can't pick from the berry bushes himself. He has lived by creatures who were very, very dedicated to the task, so the smell alone might draw him near. And then poor little Valentine, I didn't forget about you, little guy. We'll have to bring our shamans up this way to find a proper place to rest his remains as soon as they take care of all the danger. I'm pretty sure we do still have quite a few roots up here, so it shouldn't be too hard for them to do. And we'll just have Alto try to find some more food in the meantime, as we bring Wildfire and Quartz up here to meet the rest of the tribe. Oh, actually, if our beacons cross paths with Melody, wouldn't that be interesting? Yeah, maybe she's drawn in this direction because she hears all of the commotion, all of the friendly sounds of new creatures meeting, and she stumbles her way straight to our brand new beacons. Creatures who look so much like she does, but for some reason aren't feared. Because Quartz was able to help Wildfire come to terms with her blessing, she's not even afraid of the consequences anymore. So this would probably open up a whole new world to Melody. I wonder if she would feel a little bit resentful that these creatures don't understand what she went through, or if she would be just curious to get to know them more. I'm not sure, but either way, you guys definitely have quite a bit of food to pick up. We'll give Blossom her last gem, and then I don't think she can actually collect anything because all she has is the Berinnar claw and the deformed paw. So she's going to have to just clear out the pathway for us, pick up all of this grass so we're not completely consumed in the savannah, and she'll leave all of the berry picking to her very capable mother. Of course, Honeycomb is going to have to waddle his way down here too. I bet he would also be very interested to meet these new creatures. He is a bit of a clumsy individual, but he's kinda just doing his own thing out here. He doesn't judge other creatures very easily, and I think that's just what Melody needs in her life. Now we just have Dusty left, who I really don't want to leave alone, but the food is a bit more important, and he's probably more interested in studying this area anyway, rather than returning to the rest of our tribe. So that's another turn taken care of. And this might just be the end of poor little Heatwave. Let's see if the Berinnar goes after him instead. Oh my gosh, he definitely did. Oh my gosh, what a sacrifice. Sacrificing his entire life, in fact, just to make sure that our strongest creatures could survive, and then take out the Berinnar for the rest of the tribe. That is something that is definitely going to haunt Cupid in the future. And probably to Duke as well. He feels it was his job to protect his tribe from the danger, but he's not sure that he did such a good job of that after all. All he was really able to do was lick the wounds of Cupid so he could take out the danger himself, and while we would have had much more trouble if he wasn't around, that's going to be tough for him to come to terms with. But the good news is that some of the curse seems to have lifted. Some of the chaos has disappeared because the heat has slowly started to dissipate. The Berinnar is gone, it's not quite so hot in the savannah, so hopefully that means those wildfires are going to slowly burn out. It doesn't really seem like they're spreading. I can't see any extra fires in that tall grass, so fingers crossed these are going to stay right where they are until Vankir finally sends the rains. And perhaps the most important development of all is the big ears unlocking. I'm almost positive that's what this is. There we go! The big ears are finally in our mutation menu, which means we have spent 30 whole days on the Savannah Island. Yeah, I am definitely looking forward to leaving this place behind us, but we're almost there, guys. So despite the Berinnar being gone, I know that Sapphire would still carry her child away from the flames. We don't want them to stick around if it means that the nurseries are eventually going to get overwhelmed. So Zircon, I guess this is your moment to shine, your moment to make your decision. As he stumbles his way out of the grass, he can light up the pathway, so she should be able to carry her baby away faster. Harmony's fear for her child's safety would probably bring her to scoot to his side, pick up some of the grass so he can make his way back. And I did notice that there was actually a root over here too. So I guess that means that somebody can dig out this area for Valentine, so he can be put to rest right next to his family's home. This family's victory songs would of course be a little bit bittersweet today, thanks to all of their losses, but they would be victorious nonetheless. Let's bring little Quartz over to this side of the berry bush, so he can help Medley stumble his way out of the tall grass. I'm sure he's going to want to be right by his mother's side since this is their last day, and Quartz would likely recognize that since he is one of the shamans himself, so he can probably sense that immense amount of energy. But before we let their stories end, I do want to have Honeycomb breed one time with Melody, so she can leave behind just one last baby, and hopefully one with a little bit more fortune than what she had, and what her son had too. Melody's mutation menu is already taken care of, but for Honeycomb, I'm going to try something a little bit different. We're just going to fill up his slots with the normal blood clotting gene, just to see if we can pull that out of their mutation menus a little bit more easily, because we do desperately need to fix the situation if we can. So go ahead and breed with Honeycomb, and then we'll clear out this area so we can start a brand new era in your family's history. It's kind of fitting that there are two nests here. That means that we should be able to settle Medley down in the second one, and then they can literally pass side by side, just as Melody always intended. And Kirkir in the meantime can come over here to visit these new friendly faces as they pick all of their berries, make sure all of these new babies in the nest are going to be nice and full. He knows how important it is to hunt down those food supplies. That has kind of been his job over the years. Aside from just protecting all of his tribe mates, of course, as one of their strongest guards, he's also been trying to sniff out the berry bushes just like Quartz and Wildfire. And then Soot and Flea in the meantime. They must be following this pathway, because they can smell the scents of all of the creatures who came before them. So they're just curious to see what sort of creatures are actually waiting on the other side. But I think we're ready to skip the day again, so I definitely want to go back to Melody to see what her very final baby is going to look like, and to say goodbye to all of these creatures. Oh my gosh! Look how cute this little baby is! And he has the brightest yellow fur. He is literally another little flame again. It even looks like his ears are shaped like flames too, because he has his father's Berinnar ears. Oh, that is absolutely adorable. So another flame, but just a lighter version, I guess? Maybe to go along with her lightened heart. After meeting all of these different beacons, after meeting somebody who wasn't willing to judge her just based on her appearances alone. Yeah, I think this is a good sign that she left our island with a much, much happier heart. So I think we'll name this little baby Muse, and we'll see where his journey takes him. It's a bit of a bummer that yet again he does have that hemophilia genetic, but we'll keep trying. We'll see if it's possible for us to work that gene out of our genetics. So let's make sure that we're clearing up this area. That way we should be able to put all of these remains to rest soon. We'll have to have a Quartz try his hand at digging up some of these roots, I suppose, after he cleans up the berries in the area too. Ash, you also have quite a bit of food to gather for your tribe, so I guess he's going to have to stay back there. This was what he wanted, though. He did want to find plenty of berries to appease Vankir, so I feel like he has succeeded in his mission too. Now Kirkir knows this is going to be his very last day, so it's his last chance to start a family. So I think he's going to pose the question to Little Petal and then we'll alter their mutation menus to give them the healthy babies they need. We already have the big nose in Petal's mutation menu from her previous baby, and that would be a pretty good thing for us to breed back into our line anyway, since it would definitely help out our shamans quite a bit. But otherwise, I guess we'll place the normal blood clotting into her other slot yet again, just to see if it works. And then for Kirkir, let's try to pop the big ears into his first slot. Since we did just unlock it, it would be nice to see that on more of our future babies. And then the normal blood clotting to get rid of the hemophilia. So go ahead and breed with Petal so she can settle down in this other nest. I hope this area isn't going to be a bit cursed with all of these skeletons littering the grass. Surely that would end up being a good thing for our tribe. Maybe that means that Mooneye and Crescent's presence is a little bit closer. It seems kind of morbid, but I'm sure our creatures would try anything to soothe their minds. Now Soot and Flea would surely be able to hear all of the commotion up here by now. So let's have them scoot their way into this little gathering as well. Maybe drawn by the smell of all of these berries, of course. They know that they could definitely lend a hand. But they will be surprised to find that this is yet another one of those communities that are very, very friendly with the fire starters. In fact, they have kind of stumbled their way straight into Beacon Central. So we'll have to see if they can overcome their fears, overcome their biases. And look at that! Oh my gosh, all the fires are gone! Oh, thank goodness! That must mean that you made the right decision, Zircon. I'm sure that is definitely putting your mind at ease, and that means that Sapphire can finally return to her mate's side. Oh, she must be so glad that all of that commotion is over, but she knows she has a lot of work to do now. So let's bring her to this nest, a little bit closer to where she'll need to bury Valentine, because Onyx needs to find a place to rest Wildfire. He knows beyond a shadow of a doubt that it's his duty to make sure that Wildfire can pass peacefully to his next life. So let's sniff around, maybe with Cupid's big nose. Well, I'm sure he would want to help too. This can be a group effort if nothing else. We'll sniff around way up here because I know there were quite a few roots in the area. But so far I'm only seeing that one that we're going to use for Valentine. So go ahead and follow Cupid in this direction, and we'll see what you two can discover together. And then we'll bring Taduke back to Sapphire's side to maybe have another baby with her. With all of the death that has taken place lately, I feel like they could use some new babies in the nest to balance it out. Sugalite had a very, very interesting start to his life. And yeah, look at his eyes. They are so vivid in that hot savanna sun. It's very, very interesting. One of you mentioned that maybe it was actually Sugalite's birth that summoned all of the chaos, as if he has a little role to play. So we'll have to see what happens as he grows. Now as we gather the very last of all of our berries, even little Song can join in on the fun now that she has her second gem. We'll go all the way back to this tribe, I think, to see what Petal's baby is going to look like, what Vankir's one and only child is going to look like. I'm glad that he's close enough by that he should be able to watch as Petal gives birth. To a son, it seems. Alright, a blood red sun, just like Kirkir himself. He's just missing those stripes. Or actually, he does have the stripes. I think they're just red, so they're super, super hard to see against his fur, and even more so because we have so much grass in the area. So let's see if we can see them on the family tree. Oh yeah, they are like the faintest things, but you can actually see ripples on his back. That is actually really, really cool. Alright, so I think we'll name this little guy Bud to go along with his family's flowery kind of theme. And then we'll head back to the royal nest as well to see what their next baby looks like. Oh my gosh! We literally just got rid of all these fires, and now that we had another shaman baby, suddenly they're sprouting all around again. Oh my goodness. Maybe it's our ancestors who weren't very pleased of this joining of our bloodlines, and now the fires are so close. I don't know how we're going to get our babies away in time, but I mean, we might as well at least give this little one his name, and at least he has a digging pot too, so he can help us bury our tribe mates. If these fires are any indication, we are definitely going to need his help pretty soon. But we'll name this little one Obsidian, and I guess in the next episode, we are going to have to, yet again, run away from all of these fires. Just as I thought we were catching a break. Though it all seems to be contained in this area, so hopefully that means that all of our creatures by Van Kier's treasures will be okay. I guess there's always a possibility that the fires could take out our food supplies, so we are pretty darn lucky that those fires have been contained to those nurseries. As lucky as you can be when wildfires are involved. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!